And we are live back again, once again, back in the live streaming kind of situation. Everything seems to work. That's all good. So, hello and welcome to another episode of my bi-weekly live stream called Beat Review. Accurate beats, community, beat review, whatever you want. Beat review. What are we doing here? We are reviewing beats. You know, you're going to be able to send your beats to me and we're going to play the beats. We're going to talk about the beats. We're going to criticize the beats. We're going to praise the beats. We're going to, high and low, pretty much whatever. Hi and welcome. The first stream after the, flip the sample beat making challenge we did a few weeks ago. Playing 80 beats live on stream. Today, we're not going to do 80. We're just going to do the ones that comes in today, right now. Hello, people. Dirty 1200 in the house. Carbon Vibes in the house. Sizes in the house. Made so well as well. Puerto Ricanism. Hannibal Actor. Good seeing you. Dirty 1200 has been active over here. That's good. Icon 74. Lam. All the normal people and also a few new ones. Lax22, haven't seen you in a while, I think. Hello and welcome. Let me just double check that everything is actually working. That's that camera, right? That's that camera. 1, 2, 1, 2. Works. And that one is kind of close. A little bit of a close-up showing the bags underneath my eyes and everything. That's nice, So, if bi-weekly is twice a month, what is twice a week? Isn't it called bi-weekly? I mean, every other week? That's what I'm trying to say. We're doing this live stream concept every other week. I think that's bi-weekly. But again, I'm from Sweden, so what do I know? Languages and stuff becomes complicated sometimes. But I'm glad to be live again, back on the channel, back on a live stream, talking to you guys, seeing a bunch of familiar names, and also a few ones I haven't seen much before. All Mental, who are you? Welcome. Nonetheless. Getting confused about all the cameras. I think you guys know what's up. I want you guys to... Nice bokeh. Yeah, on that one. I know. We have a Sigma 16mm lens on that one. And we have a super wide 12mm lens on that one, which I just had to update. I had to buy this entire thing to put it onto and connect it to the computer to be able to update it to get autofocus with this camera. Whatever. That's me and my business. Now, let's talk about you and your business. You're going to submit beats to me, to this show, and we're going to listen to them. And you can't right now because you don't have any way of doing it. But in a few seconds you will. It's all a matter of going into... You see? You see what I did? Submit your beats at accuratebeats.com. That's what I want you to do. And right now, the website should be updated, so you could actually see the link in there. So, what I want you to do is basically to visit this website right here, accuratebeats.com. The first page is all messed up. I haven't gotten around to setting that up and fixing it up. So, forget about the first page. Click Beat Review. Get in there and read all the information you need. Click the submit thing. Go to the form, use that and submit a beat. We want some beats to actually listen to. My question to you, can you hear this beat? No, you can't. That's just in my ears. Well. Carbon Vibes asked, what's up with that mini MPC? You can tell me, I won't tell no one. Well, you can tell me as much as you know about it. All I know is that it seems to be official. It seems to be real. Akai actually posted a photo of it. So, we can believe that it's not AI generated, at least. It's official. We have a date. It's from Akai. I think it's going to be cool. It looks really small, judging by the picture, compared to the old NPC on that one. But, you know, a super small NPC. I'm not hating on that. I think it's a cool kind of thing. Let's see what happens. I mean, we have a date for it. I can't remember the date at all. I don't know what it said. But whenever it comes out, I guess it's going to be cool. You know, I saw the picture. It seems to be official. That's what I know, you know. I like that font. It feels nostalgic. Ah, thank you. That's actually the same font I use for my logo, the circle one. It looks different like this though. Yeah. 25th this month. Okay, is that the date? So we have about 9 days to wait. Then we get to know more about that small NPC. Miniature NPC. NPC Mini. It's not the name. It says something else on it, but whatever. Has anyone tried to submit a beat? Or maybe you're doing it right now. I don't know. I could just open up a web browser myself and to just make sure that it works. AccurateBeats.com. Now I'm doing what I want you guys to do. In here, go to beat review, submit your beat right here, and it comes up. I am a fucking genius. The design of that, yeah, it's not the right design, but whatever. If it works, it works. And it does actually work. That's cool. Yeah, sorry, Dirty. It's limited to 10 megabytes. And it's not me who came up with that. It's actually Squarespace, where I have my website. They can't handle anything more than that. And I haven't even checked on what happened when I got all the submissions I got. I think I have a little bit of cloud storage or something there, and I guess that's full by now from the 80 beats. But yeah, it needs to be 10 megabytes. I'm open for suggestions here. I can do a Dropbox thing. I know you can send me files in a bunch of different ways, but I want the file, I want the name of the producer, and I want space for you guys to leave a little bit of a message. And that can't be done through like Discord, you know, file receiving thing, or even Google Drive. I haven't found a good way to do it. So this is what it is. It's gonna have to be under 10 megabytes, which means MP3, you know? We don't love that, but it is what it is. Someone has sent something in, they said, which means, yeah, there we have a beat. The first submission has officially come in. The first submission is here. I guess I'm not gonna make it. Maybe you are. I mean, we don't have that many people. It's not that big of a deal. And since I'm doing this right now, I want things to be as live as possible. I don't think we're gonna get a lot of submissions. You know, I kind of didn't announce this in beforehand as much as I wanted to, and you guys weren't ready for this. You know, I didn't make any announcements or anything. I just whatever. I did post it on Instagram and on here like 1.5 hours ago. So if you have the time, please convert it into an MP3 and send it in. Because I'm gonna be hard about this. I'm just accepting submissions this way right now. Nothing else is accepted. Emails and whatever. No, we're doing this. It's gonna be my way. I'm gonna. I sent it in, but I don't know if I did it all correct. Let me see. We have 3 submissions so far. One from Lam, one from Atmosphere, and one from Icon74. So dirty, it doesn't seem like it came through. And in this Apple inbox, I don't think there's a great way for me to refresh. I'm just gonna have to. Collaboration proposal? Huh, I'm gonna have to read that email later on. But you know, give it a few minutes. I think it could be the fact that it takes a little bit of time for Squarespace to sum everything up and send it to me. And more people are saying that they submitted, and you know, let's relax, let's have a little bit of patience, and let's hope this works. Right now it's stuck at 3, the 3 I said, so hopefully there's gonna be more. Hopefully there'll be more. Dirty 1200 and YFGP1 also send one in, which I haven't received yet. So chill, relax. I think it's gonna come through. Yes, there's another one from Mutt Dastardly. Mutt Dastardly. Yeah. You know, we can relax. We are getting submissions. Beats are coming in. Use accuratebeats.com. Click beat review. Do the thing. You know, there's no stress about it. We're going to do this for 2 hours, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, something. So there's going to be time. There's time. There's time. Does seem a little bit suspicious that I'm not getting anything from Dirty and from YFGP1, but it is what it is. And since I'm chilling, I think I'm gonna try to do a thing here. If this doesn't take too long, I think this could make sense. Whoop! Let's put you over there. Not like that though. Okay, my bad. Could I start pasting stuff in here? Maybe I could. And this doesn't take too long. I thought this was gonna take way too long for me to actually do it, but no. This seems to make sense. Into the next one. And here we have Dirty 12. So this means we are getting submissions, and everyone who said they submitted is actually in here. Symphonic Beats and Emmanuel Lodea. Maybe a little bit like that. Okay, that's too. But then I should be able to whoop. I know you've told me not to do this, but I don't care. I'm doing it. So obviously beats are coming in. Normally in a show like this, whenever I start getting into talking about the actual production and stuff, things takes time. So 15 beats could be played, something like that. Right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What? Can I? No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 tracks, and now we have another one. Boom. Then I just need to properties. No, that's not how you do it. Properties. Unsaved changes, no. I'm doing something wrong. Boom. I think I like that. Having a list on screen. I think I like that. So, instead of just watching me do that and thinking about stuff, let's actually play the first track. Let's play the first one, and this list should now be, I mean, logically speaking, this feels backward because the first one is going to be long beats. So it feels backwards, but it's not because it's from the, maybe that's not backwards, from the top up. Maybe that makes sense. Which means right now I'm going to post one more in here, and then I'm going to keep receiving beats and update this one as we go. Kinda. Is that good enough? I think it is. I think that looks good. So now, who is the first one? Who's the first one? Lom Beats. For sure. Lom Beats. Let's download. And the message goes, Dusty Chops also MPC sample review when? Well, all I know about the MPC sample, because that's the name that was written on it, is that the picture from Akai seems to be real. So I can't guarantee anything more than that. We have a release date, and I'm gonna buy it, at least. So that's a little bit of course, it's gonna be covered on the channel in one way or another, for sure. Long beats. Let's just make sure that the actual audio works. If I'm switching to the right. And the actual audio doesn't work. Cool stuff. VLC, properties, restart capture. Okay. Now it's here. So, for the file. Okay, too many windows. J to the K just came in. That font with your cinematic angle will look like nice. Well, you think so? Let's try to copy. Let's try to paste. Well, I'm not loving that placement, but sure. And that doesn't work. Okay, over there. Oh, we can move it individually. So yeah, sure. Let's put you right there, right? That's the best placement. It's almost too bright over there. It's too crowded over there. Maybe that works. You know, I told you that I'm gonna stop, so yeah. It's already been half an hour, so fuck me. Long beats, let's go. That's long beats. That's cool. I got a little bit of distortion over here. Maybe that's intentional. I'm just gonna have to reference my own. Well, that's the actual correct sound. Cool. Long beats. Why I was a little bit confused here was that, hey, you used more distortion and stuff than you normally do. I don't think we have heard that kind of sound from long beats. That kind of, it's always gritty and kind of cool and whatever. But this was more distorted and broken than a lot of stuff from long beats normally are. It's good. I'm not hating on that. It's just caught me a little bit off guard. And we had this issue last stream where I had some distortion stuff. But yeah, this is the actual, I got the right thing. What's cool about this one, even though it's gritty and distorted and kind of, broken up, some of the details in the drum programming with the different percussion hits going on added a bunch. But it's dark, it's kind of evil, it's gritty, has a lot of oomph, a lot of aggression, and a lot of attitude to it, which, I'm not hating on that. That's kind of cool. Love the snare drum. I like how the bass line is mixed in there. It's really low and it's compressed and it's subby and it's, it fits the vibe. Fits the vibe really, really well. Dirty 1200 degrees. It's so dirty and he loves it. It sounds dangerous, like something bad is about to happen in a movie. Yeah. Carbon Vibes also pointed out nice textures, and for sure. Some of those noisy, crackly stuff together with those drums, and of course the whole bam, boom, 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 adds a lot of emotion to it. It's cool. Someone like me could start complaining a little bit about it being a little bit repetitive, but this feels like a beat maybe for a rapper, or maybe for using in something like a movie or a game or something. Something that's just supposed to have a lot of feeling and emotion and being a little bit repetitive. And, repetitiveness also has something, it does something with your psyche. It does something with the way you're viewing things. Repetitiveness is not just bad. And this is not extremely repetitive. It's not that. It's just... Longbeat says it's made with an SP303 and a Digitac 2. Yeah, the sound coming out of the SP303 is kind of cool. I actually have one upstairs. Just sitting on a shelf in the living room, just being a beautiful kind of piece of thing. Using the SP303 a little bit more could definitely make sense. I'm glad you used it for this. It sounds cool. It's cool. It's a good production. Lom knows what it's doing, as always. This is good stuff. And now I'm trying to... what can I do to this? Can I do... No, I'm okay. I'm not going to be able to update that as much. So no. Lom is just going to stay on a list, I think. All the ones who has been played, Well. Time to update the list, I think. I think that makes sense. We played one beat. Let's dive into the list. Dirty 1200 again. I guess you just did it twice. We also have a submission from another guy right here who we have had on the show before. The name, Wigmaster. Okay. We also have a submission from someone called Dominic Hens. Right there. And another one from Christine109. Okay. So how many beats? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 13. We're going to be able to cover 13 easily. So we're soon going to close the submission form, but not right now. What's that over there? It's the same list. And it's updated over there too. And over there too. Yeah. It almost looks like I know what I'm doing. But in order for me to actually do what I'm doing is playing the next track, which is from Atmosphere, who says, "Howdy everyone. I hope everyone is good. Hope you like." And then we have a file called Prospect. Prospects even. And we need to close that. We need to open that. We need to take that. And we need to... So, the next submission comes from Atmosphere. Let's fucking go. Okay, we're getting comments like deleting my beats, deleting all my beats. This goes hard. We can end the stream now. And yeah, he won. Tough to follow that one up. I mean, I couldn't agree more. I'm glad I don't have a submission for this. That's a fucking, that's a, whew. Nice and solid production. Good work. I don't have a lot of bad stuff to say at all. Impressive how slow and heavy and deep it is, but also not too crammed up with stuff, Sometimes I call beats minimalistic, and this is not minimalistic. It has a lot of stuff going, but everything is so well matched together. Everything just fits together in a way that makes sense and sounds good and feels good. We have the deep bass line, we have the slow and the hard drums, we have the different sections, the different drum variations that comes in, a drum fill, but still a lot of space. There's still a lot of space in there for maybe a rapper or just for me to enjoy it. Classic Hank says a certified banger. And yeah, this was a great fucking submission. What can I say? What can I say?
Right. Atmosphere.
Ah. There's so much stuff going on in the lower frequencies. The kick drum is super, super hard. Then we have the bass line, the bass notes, and also some really low piano notes that goes hard. Are you guys in kind of a bad mood today? We've had 2 beats so far and everything's just evil. So much good stuff. So much good stuff. Atmosphere? Jesus, man. What are you doing to us? Atmosphere, the second submission in this list over here, has just been played. And he also wrote a message that reads, "Howdy, everyone. Hope everyone is good. I hope you like." I think I read that. But yeah, that's amazing. But you know, this little concept of mine is open to everyone. Beginner or not. So following this one up, sure, it feels like kind of a mission. But we know that Icon74 is a great producer. He makes a lot of cool stuff and he has submitted before. And his message reads as always, Icon74 here, and this is my beat for the stream, made as usual on the MPC 1 Plus. Icon74 here, and this is my beat. That's what it says all the time, every time. I like the consistency of your included messages a lot. Icon74, I've got your file right here, pulling it into my media player, and let's just go to the next submission from Mr. Icon74. Okay, I'm gonna stop that right there. I've said about 2 minutes and we played 2.5. It's 4 minutes, so let's cut it right there. I think we got the idea of what that track is. Icon 74 also came in with something dark and evil and mean and angry, upset, whatever you want. A lot of those kinds of emotions so far. Icon 74, this is good. I think this is really cool. We are on a crazy high level with a lot of producers who just makes bangers. That's just what it is. And Icon 74 is definitely one of them. You know, using samples like that, like vocal samples, like Gregorian choirs or whatever you want. This is not Gregorian singing, I know, but you know, that style of stuff. Really cool. Really cool. The processing of everything here is done in a way that feels really intentional. And, you know. What's cool about this is also that you're using the same samples and you're in the same kind of sonical sphere the entire time, but you're mixing it up. You have a few different variations using the same source material, flipping it around in a way that makes sense and keeps things interesting. It feels nice and dynamically arranged, and you know, it's a good listen in general. Some of the sound effects in here is kind of cool, kind of crazy. But in this genre, in this style, I think it just adds a bunch of vibes and emotion that make sense in context. This is really good. I think you could have gone a little bit harder with the bass line for my like personal taste. That bass note is coming loud and clear, but the other ones, let's check that. And I guess that depends on the actual note, because some bass notes resonates differently than others, but whatever, it's a good freaking production. And again, someone who plays around with adding stuff rhythmically, like cool percussion stuff that comes in and just adds something. I can hear someone ripping this one. Yeah, me too. Unfortunately, the last beat played before this one. This is good, but it's kind of coming out of the freeway. Wow. Hannibal Actor says to Icon that your drums got so much better. And yeah, we don't have to go there. But yeah, the drums in here, no complaints. No complaints about anything. It's just dark and cool and moody. So, Icon 74 has been played. Time for Mutt Dastardly. Is that kind of a pun somehow? Mutt Dastardly. I don't know. And now I sent him an email. Almost. Clicking the wrong thing. The message here goes, "Hi Ack, here's my new beat fresh off the MPC Live 3. Rough draft." Capital letters. I had to change my name again because someone else used that name before me. So now I'm Mutt Dastardly. I hope you like the beat. Thanks and peace from Matt. Okay, so this is Freakwave, right? Or Matt, now known as Mutt Dastardly. Yeah, that's probably a name no one has used, so good for you. Good for you. Mutt Dastardly right now.
Mutt Dastardly. Mutt Dastardly.
Mutt Dastardly. Oh yeah, makes sense.
Mutt Dastardly.
So, we just played a beat from Mutt Dastardly, and this was not very dark. You know, not super moody and aggressive and evil like the other ones. This had a little bit of hopefulness inside of it, a little bit of swing, a little bit of a cool rhythm and groove that kind of just made you feel good, instead of making you feeling super upset and crazy about anything.
Mark Dastardly.
I mean, we have some nice and clean drums, a few cool samples. I love flute samples like that, incorporated this way. Makes a lot of sense. It's really cool. Mutt Dastardly made a great one. There is something going on with the mixing, and he said this was a rough draft. So let's not judge him too hard. And I think overall it sounds good. It does. But you know, maybe something about the EQing on the sample itself, getting some of that clarity out of the sample. That could also be done with a limiter and you know, all sorts of tools in the toolbox. The vibe, cool. The swing, the groove, not too like, you know, drunken beats that everyone does, me included. Just nice and swing. A little bit of a shuffle feel, and just, you know. What needs to be highlighted about this one is definitely the use of different samples. Different samples playing in kind of a way that just makes sense. You know, we have the string, we have the bass, and we have some piano chords and whatever. No, not a lot of piano chords, but you know what I'm saying. The flute and the strings plays really well together. Overall, nice and solid track. It's a good listen. It feels nice to listen to. You know? Really smooth. Really smooth. Can I send my beat review? I'm not sure. We might be full of submissions for today. We have 2 more to put on the list. So yeah, maybe a few more. Maybe 1 or 2 more I could fit in there. I think I could. We have a submission from Billy Legal coming up. And we also have a submission from Rhythm Craftsman coming up. And maybe something else, maybe something more. But, you know, we can't play too many. We can't get out of our way and you know, streaming for 6 hours. That was a submission from Mutt Dastardly. Now let's go into the email again and look for Dirty 1200, which is next up on the list. Dirty, you sent me 2 different submissions. Are we talking the same file, or did you make a mistake somehow? I think I can figure that out myself. Mutt Dastardly and their 1200. Mega compression in a year. That's the name of the file. We should have you over here again. And it's the same submission. Cool. I figured that out myself. Dirty 1200 has a message, and it reads, Dirty 1200 back again. Hope all is good with you, Accurate. Here's a little thingy I started on a few days ago. So, what is this beat? Prestige sound and a clean mix? No. Super exciting drum programming? No. Top-notch levels and panning? No. Chopped up samples from many different records? Yes. Muddy low ends and ear-hitting mids? Yes. Over-the-top compression? Yes. Is it any good? Who knows? Thanks for keeping the vibe alive every Monday, Accurate. Thank you, Dirty 1200. Appreciate that a lot. The track is again called Mega Compression in a Year. So, no, it's not. Mega Compression in your ear. In your ear. In your ear. Dirty 1200. Let's go.
Det här är en sång som jag fick en underbar musik som jag har satt text till. Och vi har lekt lite grann i studion. Så det här är inte på något sätt någon färdig skiva. Men jag tycker att det finns de här sommarkänslorna som jag tycker att, som man verkligen sätter värde på när man är mitt ute i öknen.
Man, I couldn't have said it better myself than what you did in the actual email. Pristine sound and a clean mix. Well, you said no. I'm gonna say, well, more than you think. Super exciting drum programming? No. I don't think it needs to be more exciting than this. Top-notch level and panning? No. Well, to me, I don't know. Chopped up samples from many different records. Yeah, that was obvious, of course. I think that's what you do the best, right? Muddy low end and air hitting mids, yes. Yeah, maybe a little bit sharp in the mids, but in my headphones right here, I can't say that the low end was like overbearing anyhow, you know? Over the top compression, yes. Yeah. You know, sometimes I feel like maybe I should try to go that route a little bit more. Slapping a compressor on stuff just to squeeze the most out of whatever I've got going. The way that worked with this snare drum to me is, you know, And also in the low end, like how the bass line and the kick drum kind of crashes and it still really works because everything gets squeezed down. You know, this type of over-compressed sound definitely has a vibe to it. I'm not confident enough. Honestly, I'm not confident enough to go there with my stuff. But whenever you do it like this, and you obviously know how to, I like it. Like it a lot. It becomes really punchy and clean. Even though it's kind of dirty and messed up and whatever, it sounds clean and fresh and, you know, punchy because of the
Det
compression.
här är en sång som jag fick en underbar musik som jag har satt text.
Also, Swedish samples in the beginning is fire. That snare. And the tiny little bling, 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 you know, the rhythmical delay and everything adds a lot. And Hannibal Actor also says the drum programming is solid. I think it is. If I know you just a little bit dirty, it feels like you want a lot of stuff to happen. But sometimes, you know, keeping the drum programming nice and simple, just keeping it hip-hop, keeping it boom-bappy, keeping it boom, 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 doesn't always need to be more difficult or more over the top than that. Since you're using samples from so many different sources and you just have this really choppy sound to it, I think the drum section for something like this could be this simple. You don't have to go over the top with that. That's my opinion. Carbon agrees. The snare is gold. It is. I mean, the kick drum feels like I want a little bit more low frequencies from the kick drum, but the snare... By the way, I think I don't like the kick drum. just putting it out there. I don't think I love the kick drum. Dirty 1200 with solid production, hands down. And you're bringing some kind of funk to it. You know? You're bringing some kind of funk to it. This bass line and that simple, kind of nice drum groove and all the different delays and the different layers of stuff becomes funky. Yeah, Dirty 1200, more of this, please. More like this. This is good. This is good. This is good. Love it. Great job. And on the list, who's the next one? Dirty 1200 was... Okay, now I got two of his, so I'm confused. Over there, Lax 22. Good that I have this thing too. Lax 22. He says, I sampled a 1974 folk joint for this one. Normally I laid down the drums lastly, but here I went with a break that I merged with a drum pattern I made from scratch. SP404, resampling, quick mix, no master, no track name as per usual. I maybe should have kept the drums a little bit lower, I'm not sure. Peace, Lax 22. Lax 22 with another submission for the Beat Review live stream. Let's go. Lax 22, let's go. Man, that feels like a great start. Feels like a start of something great. Let's go back to your message here, Lax22. Sampled a 74 folk joint for this one. You merged the drum pattern with a break. And you asked in the email if the drums, or you said maybe I should have kept the drums a little bit lower. Well, I don't know about that. I would actually do the opposite. Because a guitar sample like that I find guitar samples like that to be difficult to work with. Maybe that's just me, but a guitar sounds like a guitar. And an acoustic guitar in this case has a lot of, the frequency spectrum is really wide for an instrument like that. If you don't play like, far up on the neck, up and down, I'm getting confused. Because you have a lot of resonating strings and there's a lot of sound going on at once. That's why people love the guitar. That's why I don't love the guitar. It's hard to get it, to incorporate it in a really clean, nice way, which I normally try to. In this case, you just took it and you just slammed it and just went for it. I think that's better. I think that's cooler. But there's a lot of low frequency energy in the sample, and it becomes a little bit muddy, and that kind of sound together with those drums, I feel like I would choose. I would make the decision here. Do I want to go heavy on the drums, using a lot of drums in terms of volume, focusing on the drums and the rhythm, or do I want the focus to be on the guitar? Just to make an active choice. Am I doing this or am I doing this? In this case, I think you did a little bit of both. And I would appreciate even more drums, getting the guitar to be more of a supporting instrument. But yeah. The chord progression here has a lot of value to it. It's cool. You're flipping it up and you're switching it around a little bit, and I think that's nice. But honestly, I gotta say, I think you can do more with this one. I think this to me, as I said, the first thing I did, it feels like a start of something really cool and great. It does need something more. A few more instruments that does something that's, that works as a contrast somehow for what's going on. Since the guitar has that sound, you have a lot of space to add something like a flute or some higher type of strings, or maybe some piano, something that plays in the higher kind of register to provide some kind of contrast. But we're going too far. This is a good idea, a good start for a track. I like the emotion, I like the vibe of it, and it goes really well with the drums. Something needs to be changed up with the vibe, but yeah. Dirty is probably right. The guitar sounds like it could face error in mono. Oh, and I'm getting mono. So maybe that's maybe that's on me. Not that I'm getting a mono, I'm getting a stereo converted into mono. So maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, don't listen to me. I'm just a dumbass. That was the submission from Lax22, and I think it's time to move on to the next submission from Symphonic Beats. Hello, Accurate. Hope all is well. I'm putting together a project and I'm still on the fence with this one. As always, looking forward to your thoughts. Symphonic Beats. Now, Symphonic Beats. That was stupid. I should have done that when I actually played it, but whatever. Symphonic Beats is about to be played right now.
What happened?
He's a courier from San Luis Obispo, Senor de la Vega. He had the money for the supplies from Spain until he was met by bandits.
Did they get the money?
See, every peso. Gomez, get the doctor. Take him into my room. Courier after courier is being shot and robbed. I would exercise a great deal of caution.
Thank you for the advice. I'll keep it in mind. Do you accuse Senor Verdugo?
Name no names. Every pueblo in California is sending Verdugo money for supplies. If I had 17,000 pesos on the way from Los Angeles, I would exercise a great deal of caution. I would exercise a great deal of caution.
Thank you for the advice.
Man, someone in the chat said, this is hip hop. And yeah, YFGP1 says, this is hip hop. And it sure is. This has all the elements to it. Some vocal samples thrown in there. We have a lot of cool string sounds, some really nice and funky drums, and a deep bass line behind it all. I mean, you go by the name of symphonic beats. And this is a symphonic kind of sample, a symphonic kind of beat. This is flat out just nice sounding.
Exercise a great deal of caution.
Do you accuse Senor Verdugo?
Name no names.
To me, what's cool about this one in particular is using samples like that. That's like rhythmical in themselves. And still finding a groove that makes it work and that fits into your vibe instead of what it was from the beginning. That's cool. If you're doing it wrong, now we're talking about micro timing of stuff. If you're doing stuff like that wrong, it just becomes flat and boring, and it just sounds like, yeah, you put a drum loop on top of some sample and it doesn't match up. You did a great job with this one, according to me. Matching the tempo and the vibe and the groove and the feel and the swing and the what of the drums with the sample. I hope you understand what I'm saying. I think it could easily be done in a way that doesn't make it swing, that doesn't make the rhythm of the string thing to actually fit. Even though it fits in tempo, you actually got it to fit in feel, which is more important. Way more important. And, samples like that has been used by people like all those white dudes. I'm thinking of Jedi mind tricks. They're not all white, I know, but Jedi mind tricks and people like that. Can't figure out any names right now, but you know what I'm talking about. Because of the mixing on this one, it feels like it's not necessarily made for rappers, but maybe it is. Getting some hardcore, aggressive kind of rappers rapping about pretty much nothing on a track like this is where it's at. That's really cool. Really cool. And again, layers of sound to keep things interesting. But a classic kind of breakbeat, some classic in a different way, classical samples, and a really cool vibe. Love how the bass line was mixed in there. Really do. Definitely need a rack compressor someday. What are you talking about? Yeah, reminds me of Immortal Technique. That's what I'm talking about. Let's move on. Let's pick another one. Emmanuel Lodia. Who says, "Hi man, I like your channel and your style. I've been watching you for some time now. Just seen the live pop up on your YouTube and figured, why not send a beat? So this is it. Piece from Romania. I usually make chill, jazzy beats, mostly on the MPC. Enjoy. My name is Mano, and I go by the name of YFGP, by the way. Your favorite ghost producer." Oh, YFGP, your favorite ghost producer. That's cool. Okay, peace. The track is called Searching Again, 92. So I guess that's 92 BPM. We know what we have coming. Let's go. Yeah, I mean, what is there more to say? You know, the last track had some classical samples. This one has some classic kind of soul samples. High-pitched strings and all that tension that comes with that kind of genre. Flipped up, put on a nice a nice little drum loop together with a bass line. You know, this is where it's at. This is where it's at. If I had that sample, I think I know exactly what I would have done. Similar to this, but not exactly the same. I heard some chops in there that I immediately thought, like, yeah, how could I take those and paste it around and whatever. Really good. Someone pointed out that it sounds a little bit like Ninth Wonder. And yeah, that style of beat makers is what I'm also into. I'm trying to diversify a little bit and you know, change it up. But this feels like Ninth Wonder. Feels like one of those tracks from like back in the days. Classic hip-hop. Pitched up soul sample. And also the filtering in the beginning. Yeah. What kind of always happens whenever you have a soul sample like this with a lot of strings and stuff and you pitch it up, it becomes a little bit sharp, and that's part of the sound, and that's what's cool about it. But maybe you also want to kind of have that kind of quality of it and contrast that with a lot of bass. You know, if you have so much stuff going on in the higher frequencies, a little bit of screaminess going on with the strings and stuff, balancing that with some really low bass notes. I mean, you have a bass line in there, but I want to hear more of it. I want it to be more in your face, more upfront. Together with that really sharp and hitty snare drum too, you know, it has a lot of cool energy to it, but you could also add a little bit more depth. I can't say that word. Deepness. By allowing the bass line to have a little bit more space in the mix, a little bit more volume. Just a little bit. I'm not talking like any crazy amount. Just saying a little bit more bass. Now I can't play it. And great timing with those stabs that comes in. It's easy to put all those stabs on like the 1 and the 3, and you find your way around it. You made something really cool with the sample. Having this section as kind of a B section is effective. The kick drum is low and distorted, and maybe I think this is good. This is good. I keep talking about like raising the volume of the bass line. Maybe that's not necessary because you have that kick drum. In headphones, it's one thing. You know, it's a good beat for sure. Just like Made So Well is pointing out. Good beat for sure. Good beat. Good beat. Great job. Your favorite ghost producer, YFGP. Good job. Good job. Let's go to someone called All Mental. All Mental, yeah. Who says Supernova Phoenix Go Nuclear was inspired. The name of this track was inspired by my daughter Phoenix. I made this using the MPC Live 2. Produced by me. All Mental for Kitchen Works production. All right. Inspired by your daughter. I think that's cool. Let's hear what you have to offer. Jesus, my mic was muted. Damn. How long did that went on for? You know what? Actually, I haven't done that a lot. I'm muting the mic whenever I play the beat and then I unmute it. And I haven't forgotten to unmute it a lot. I don't think I have. I'm sorry about that. Sorry about that. It's also good to, to have a little bit of silence sometimes. We don't need to listen to me all the time or beats. We can just sit around and listen to nothing. We can't hear you 1 minute. Ah, shit. No. I'm actually kind of ashamed of that. Damn. So what I was saying here, I need to follow along with the chat room more. I'm learning that. You pointed it out and I just didn't see it. Damn. So the whole review, yeah, okay. What I was saying here was that this is good. You pointed it out yourself. Forgive me, I'm a newbie. So we need to take that into consideration. He is a newbie, but I think you don't have a lot of stuff to be ashamed of at all. You don't have to ask for forgiveness. This is good stuff. The idea is good. The execution is kind of good. The finishing touches with like applying a master compressor or limiter or fixing up the EQ is not very good. To me, that should be fixed. That could be fixed because we have a lot of oomph. We have a lot of power in the drums and the bass line, and the sample fits in there musically, but sonically it feels like it could offer more to the entire thing. And those bass notes, do-do-do-do-do-doom, could be so cool. They become a little bit hidden, so they need to be, put in the forefront. Needs to be raised in volume, is what I'm saying. Together with the rest of the sample. There's something going on with the mixing here that doesn't glue this mix together. We talk about that sometimes. What does it mean to glue a mix together? What I normally do is I just keep adding stuff. If it feels a little bit empty and there's space to be filled, I try to fill it up with more sounds. You could also very well just add processing. More EQ tweaks, filter something out that doesn't need to be there, applying a compressor, limiting to change the dynamics of the thing. That changes the overall quality of the thing a lot. And that's what I feel needs to be done here. Again, the chat room. It's all good. Okay, we're back on. It's good. So, my thought about this is that you know what you're doing. This is good stuff. Something about the mixing and the end processing of it all needs to be fixed. Maybe in the mix or in the mastering process. I don't know. Because you want the power and the oomph of the bass and the drums to match what you're adding with the sample. Not that the sample should take overhand. It does sometimes for me, but whatever. Just needs to be balanced differently. I think this has a lot of great qualities to it. And we could get into talking about stuff like maybe having something a little bit off the grid, but if you're a beginner, work on the grid. Keep things steady, on tempo, on the grid, lock it up, lock it in, let me begin. You don't need to do everything all at once. So now you have the basics of this is how I put together a beat. I have this and this and this. That's good. Now make it sound cohesive together, which is a science in itself. But good job. Hands down, good job. This is good stuff. It needs some finishing touches. Honestly, it kind of does to translate. I'm sure what you're hearing in your monitors or headphones or whatever is different from what I'm getting, but that's where being able to mix and process a piece of music to make it translate to other sets of speakers and whatever makes a big difference. And he replies, "Thanks, bro. Unfortunately, I don't know anything about compression, and honestly, this was my third beat." In that fucking case, I can go shit myself. Your third beat, and you're getting everything to sound good together, musically speaking. That's awesome. Awesome work. Good for you. Good stuff. Hands down. Forget everything I said. Is this your third beat ever? Jesus. Learning and understanding a little bit about compression and sound processing is really beneficial, because that is what's going to take your music from sounding like a demo to sounding more as a finished piece of work. But this is good stuff. Keep making music, and watch 2 10-15 minute videos on YouTube about compression. Learn 10% of it, and it's going to make a world of a difference. A world of a difference. Now, sorry about the silence. I fucked up. But now we're jumping into the next submission that comes from DJ Productions, who says, "I used 4 different samples to make this on FL9. Good job on making music fun again." To me? Oh, thank you. Thank you. 4 different samples put together in this track by DJ Productions. Let's go. Yeah, that's cool. Some people in the chat room are saying that the mic is not muted. Some people are saying that they kind of recognize the track. I recognize this one. Comes from 2 people. Yeah. Rockwell is saying that he likes the sample. I'd like a little bit more swing on the drums, maybe. Yeah, I agree. Using I don't want to go too long-winded about this, but using samples like that is actually kind of difficult, because whenever you're working on it, you're making the beat, it sounds just awesome. It sounds fire, and it does when I'm listening to it too. I'm not saying anything else. But since vocal samples like that, they take up so much space. Even if you put them down in the mix, they still, I'm not going to say that they're like, what's the word? They just take a lot of space, and you have a hard time listening to anything else. It becomes very intense, which is cool. But sometimes in a track like this, using samples like that for sections is, to me, more effective than using it for the entire thing. Sometimes you can't stop yourself because it sounds really cool, but there's something about that kind of, because it's basically people singing notes normally in a really high, loud volume, and then it becomes intense. It sounds like screaming, kinda. And you're combining that with drums and bass and everything, and it becomes music. It becomes a beat, and that's good. But especially to me right now, the whole thing about ear fatigue is a thing. Like, scientifically speaking, it is a thing. And listening to frequencies like that without having a lot of dynamics going on, it's just it's cool. What I'm asking for here is more dynamics in the arrangement. And it's not just about the loudness or the frequencies, it's also about the length of the notes. Because if you wanted to like play this, it would be dun, 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 right? But that's not what we're getting. We're getting da, 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 which is different. It's the same notes. I'm trying to sing the same notes, but it becomes different because you don't have any space to breathe. So maybe just adding a section where you're using the same sample but shorter chops, maybe with delay. That's what I normally tend to do, just to switch it up a little bit. Going back to basics here. This is a good beat. I like this a lot. Pure hip hop, super cool. A lot of attitude in there, a lot of vibes. You know, again, rappers like Jedi Mind Tricks, rapper like Immortal Technique, someone like that. All this flies. It's dope. It's dope. Accurate, I wrote it too. That's why I sent a reference track with vocals. Puerto Ricanism, I'm not following. This is not you. Well, it's good. It's good. I'm trying to be like nuanced and trying to be nice about criticism, being maybe a little bit too much. I felt that. I felt it. I'm sorry. It's good. It's a nice track. Let's move on to the next one. Yes, I'm trying to add value. I'm trying to. Who's next on the list? Wigmaster. The message is live raw Grover Washington flip. Grover Washington. I think I have one of his. Whatever. I looped up a part. I hit record and just started moving the loop brace around and recorded the performance. All live, first take, little to no edits. Cool. That's different. A really fun way to make music though, for sure. Wigmaster. Let's go.
Wait. 'Cause I world. Love will set us. Wait. Waiting there. Do you know? Wait. There's a new life there. You know, there's a new life there. No, the waiting there. As we believe, there's a new life there. New life there. Do you know there's a new life there? Do you know there's a new life there?
Damn. Those kinds of submissions hasn't been how am I using this language? We haven't had a lot of submissions like that. That's cool. That's cool. As a beat maker, as a sample nerd, I see what's special and cool about this. Honestly, we gotta be honest, for real. A lot of people who doesn't listen to this genre of music wouldn't be able to understand what's going on, you know? So it's for us more than anything else maybe. But also, someone mentioned Rock Marciano, and sure, if you're working like he's working and you're putting some really cool rap on this to keep the steadiness of the rhythm and everything being more obvious, I think it could appeal to a lot of people. But we also got to be honest and understand that we are a specific crowd of people who likes this kind of stuff. And then this makes sense. If you have a sample and you chop it up and you put it on the pads, you know, you have your samples right here, and you start listening, starting to look for a pattern. Do I want that one, and then this, that, maybe like some, you know, and you just play that, just record it without all the drum parts and everything that keeps the rhythm steady. This is pretty much what you're left with, which is choppiness and messiness. You also have some pitch changes here, which is cool. Maybe a bit much, but cool. Listening to this is just, it becomes dreamy and beautiful, and there's so much space for a producer to add something. There's a few drum hits in there, but not too many. Yeah, super vibey, super cool stuff. But I think this has an audience that's not like, you know, any 10-year-old who kind of likes hip-hop, you know. There's a kick and hats, yeah, but you don't have a full drum section that just keeps the tempo and whatever. I like this. I could definitely see myself just vibing to this, just listening to this for what it is. And I mean, I know that you have a pulse, you have a beat in there. I know it. I'm just saying this would, to me, be considered as a drumless beat. And we don't get a lot of those in here, which is unfortunate. And I don't have the balls. I don't have the guts to make stuff like that myself. I always feel like I have to overcompensate by adding this and that and this and that and this and that. Not doing that and just leaving it like this is really cool. I am for real impressed. This is good. This is good. And the most impressive thing to me is definitely the different pitch things that went on. It's not too much. Not at all. Puerto Ricanism with the capital letters. You got the MPC sample already, don't you? Come on, man. Just give us a hint. I know that it seems real. I believe it's real. Akai shared the picture themselves. I think it's real. The MPC sample, I think it's real. I think it exists, and I think it's going to come out on the date they said. Inbox. Dominic, aka Klangfarben. Okay, so 2 names. I'm sorry. I'm just putting in the list. I'm putting whatever you wrote in the name of the submission. So Klangfarben says, "Hey, Accurate. Today I have a small, calm beat. Hope you in the community like it. Regards from Germany. Dominic, aka Klangfarben." Boom. Let's play it. Cool. You asked in the chat. Hopefully, it's not mastered too low. It's for a special mixtape. They wanted like that. I had to raise the volume quite a bit in the VLC media player. So let's take it down. It was really low compared to all the other ones. So it was really low. But if they wanted it like this for a mixtape, fine. You know, putting something on tape compared to playing something on YouTube takes different kind of, what's this? It takes different volumes and whatever. This is nice. We started like with a few submissions that had a lot of darkness and evilness and aggression. Now we're in this kind of territory. Nice and jazzy. The first thing I'm noticing about this is that I think I want more bass. I think I want a bass line in this kind of style. An upright bass going dum-dum, dum-dum, would be beautiful. Upright bass together with that jazziness of the track. I mean, the swing is there. We have the saxophone. We have the strings. Just need to point that out. To me, it feels like there's something with the kick drum that's a little bit too much. But if this is going on actual tape, it works differently, and that could be cool. But the mix itself has a lot of kick drum and not a lot of bass line. I want more bass line. Kind of. Are you talking about lawyers and stuff? As his lawyer, I advise him to... Well. Added now playing to the production. It's supposed to say now playing and the name of the producer. I accidentally took it out. A nice track, nice and solid, really smooth, more than anything else. And, you know, adding the different instrumentation together with that saxophone, having it play like that, it's really cool. It has a lot of vibes to it. It's a nice and dreamy track that could be played in so many different scenarios. We also have some humming birds and whatever in the background. Singing birds might be, I don't know. Good stuff. Klangfarben, we've heard music from you before, and this is the most relaxed one so far, I think. But yeah, like this. And he also says, yes, upright bass would work well. Good idea. I only have good ideas. You know me by now. All the ideas, fire. Klangfarben, thanks a lot for blessing us with this piece of music. I loved it a lot. Missing an I in playing. Yeah. If you need to be like that, now playing. Is that better? James Rockwell. Is that better? Playing. Jesus. I'm kidding, of course. I'm kidding. The next beat comes from, as it says on the list, this was from Klangfarben, Dominic. The next one comes from Christine 109. Right? Christine 109. And the message for this email or for this submission goes like this. I just chopped up the sample and add drums. That's it. Sometimes that's all you need. Sometimes you need a bass line. Who knows? Let's listen to this track right here. Okay, my windows are all fucked up. Christine 109. As I gave a little bit of a hint, sometimes you need a bass line. Up to that point, I love it. I think it's great. That sample and the way it works with the rhythm, really, really good stuff. Really good stuff. In my opinion, I think you used a little bit too much of the vocals then. At this point, it's pretty much a piece of music and you added some drums on it, which is cool, which is valid. That's a choice. That's a creative choice. That's a, nothing against that. But compared to how it sounded in the beginning without all the crazy vocals, this is really good. And then loop from here. Boom. There you have a really solid 4-bar loop, Use that twice, make something different. This is good for what it is, but I think with a little bit of more work on the actual arrangement and laying out the different parts, there is a beauty to find a nice sample and just adding drums to it. Of course, there's a beauty in that, but there's, according to me, more skills involved and more beautiness to get whenever you start mangling stuff, cutting things up, rearranging things, using this note twice, maybe with a delay at one point. But making music like this has a lot to do with taste, and this is tasteful. This is cool. This is really good. Love the sample, love what you did with it, but I think you could have worked with it more and made it more into more of a kind of production scenario. Not hating on it, though. Not hating on it. Really good. Puerto Ricanism says, that's what we kind of normally do with chop and drums. I have to hold myself back from drum programming until I listen to any melodics I can potentially add. That's what I'm saying. Adding a little bit more never hurts. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it hurts. My bad. I shouldn't say that. Adding too much sometimes hurts. Not adding enough. You are in a community of producers. Everyone wants that sample. Everyone wants that project, and add more stuff to it. Do that yourself. Sample is God. Yeah, the sample is God. This is, the potential here, crazy. Christine109 says, no arrangement and stuff, as you can hear for sure. Kind of last minute submission. It's my first time here. For real? You are very welcome, good sir. Very welcome to the stream. Love having you. Nice having you here. Doing this. Awesome. Awesome stuff. But if this was kind of a quickly thrown together thing, I would love to hear some of your more finished, worked on stuff for future episodes. For sure. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the world of Accurate Beats live streams. Really, the first part of the vocals would work well. Please keep working on it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying too. I'm agreeing with Carbon. Keep working on it. It's my first time here too. Uptown Blondie. Good having you here. Love it. Thanks a lot, guys. I hope you're having kind of a good time, being inspired and motivated and whatever we're here for. Let's jump into the next submission, shall we? From Billy Legal. Billy Legal, who says, Ensoniq ASR 10, SP 1200, SP 2400. And okay, this is interesting. The file name is Accurate Flip the Sample Volume 1. So this is someone who was smart enough to make a track for the Flip the Sample Beatmaking Challenge and submitting it here. Cool. So I guess we haven't heard this one in that kind of streaming concept. So I hope it's new for us and that we're going to be able to enjoy yet another producer flipping the sample I made for the Flip the Sample Beatmaking Challenge Volume 1. Whoo! All Mental says, yo, Accurate, I love your honesty because you're a professional and I'm not there yet. I'm a work in progress and I thank you for your honest criticism. There are some channels that hype up garbage. I know, I'm trying to be somewhat nuanced in things. But you made a mistake here. You made a mistake in your message here. I love your honesty because you are a professional and I'm not there yet. I'm not a professional. I'm not a professional. I'm not a professional. I'm not a professional. Okay? I'm no better than anyone else. I just have opinions. Now, this submission from Billy Legal is made with my sample. Let's have a listen. That's my sample. 100%. That's my sample, boys. Let's go. Damn. I don't know how much context we need for this, I guess most of you in here knows about the Flip the Sample challenge. Was that like 3 weeks ago at this point? 2 or 3 weeks ago. I made a sample, provided to you guys. Everyone got to flip it, and I got 80 submissions. And we played it over the course of 2 live streams over 2 days. And this is someone using the same sample. Billy Legal is actually in the chat, so let's see what he's saying. Not too much. First of all, I thought he took like the file and converted it into MIDI and changed the sounds and everything, because I'm not using those sounds, and there's also a note in there that's different. So he probably didn't do that. He probably just learned the parts and played them. I managed to play it on here, so, and I'm not a professional, so of course. This is really good. When we sat here and listened to all the 80 submissions, I got floored time and time again by the different results people got out of the same sample. This is one of those, but even more crazy. You know, the dubstep UK garage kind of... Did I say dubstep? No. Reggae dub UK garage kind of vibe. Goes a little bit over my head. I'm not totally in love with the style of stuff, but what you managed to do with the source material here is crazy. Sure, you used it as a sample and whatever. You also replayed a few things, I guess, but you made it your own. This is more or less a remix of the sample. You know, a lot of people took the sample and chopped it up and pitched it up and down and whatever, turned it around and on its side and whatever. You took most of the parts and used them in different ways, in a different genre, on different instruments, introducing a few different notes here and there. This is impressive. Man, this is impressive. Tell us in the chat, did you play it on the actual keyboard yourself, or did you do some tomfoolery with the audio file to convert it into MIDI and whatever? I want to know. You said something in your email. Let me read that again. Sonic is ASR, an ASR 10, SP1200, SP2400. What? Is that all you used for this? That's even crazier. That bass line is obvious. That sound is not mine. The notes are mine, but the sound is not. You also have some pitch sliding. So cool. It also sounds great. Yeah, that's some cool modulation. Some cool modulation going on. And Persona Studio One. Okay, so it's also a DAW. Cool. Klein Farben, thanks for hanging out. Good to have you here. Take care. Peace out. A lot of VSTs. Yeah, I can tell. I almost want to make this into an interview with you, going through the process and how you thought about it and how it ended up like this, but you know, we can't. Maybe I'll do a show. What do you mean by that? I mean, you're getting a lot of shine for this one in the stream and from me personally, because this is really, really cool. The production in itself, just talking about the production without focusing on the fact that it's my notes and samples to a certain extent, it sounds really good. Well produced, well mixed, nice and wide and full and cool. think that's the actual sample. It's so funny because even though some of the sounds has been changed and replaced, you're using the same chord progression and the same kind of notes and melodies and everything. And I never thought of using these chords and that kind of, all the melodies and stuff this way. You did it, and you did a great job at it. Billy Legal. Damn. Oh, I like the list on the side. I saw it just now. For real? It's been there since start. I think it's kind of good. And now playing Billy Legal over here. It's a clean mix. It's a great thing. Yeah. And he also says, let's do another beat challenge. We are going to do another beat challenge. I'm not going to do it as soon as I thought. I thought I was going to do one like in a week. No, it's going to take a little bit longer. Partly because I have a specific kind of gear I want to use to make the sample, and partly because there was a lot of submissions. We don't want to do it too often. But it's going to happen again. Flip the Sample Beatmaking Challenge Volume 2 is coming. The chime isn't a sample, I don't think. He swung a space between the notes a little longer. Yeah, he did all sorts of things. That's what you're able to do when you're replaying it and you're using MIDI notes and you're, allowing for all types of tomfoolery. Billy Legal, I am just really impressed by the work you put in here. The work itself, obviously, you took a lot of time to make it. That's awesome. And the outcome. It's also a great piece of music. And as I said last time around, I am blessed and happy and thankful for being a part of your creative process for this thing. Being a part of it, even though it's in a different kind of way, feels good. Be proud of this one, for real. And the next submission on the list is not Billy Legal. We're going to move over to... Why is it that hard to move your hand? Just because I'm watching the thing. From Billy Legal to Rhythm Craftsman. Hi, if I may, I'll throw in and I'm one of my beats. I think we understand what you're trying to say. Rhythm Craftsman with one of the submissions for today's beat review. Let's throw it into VLC and have a listen. Rhythm Craftsman. Okay, cool. I talk a lot about stuff being repetitive because most of us are working with more or less loop-based music. And sometimes you're getting into the rabbit hole of doing something that becomes repetitive. Whenever you do, like this one, dum da dum dum da dum da 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 dum da dum dum. Whenever you have like melody lines that are really, really high on the rhythm aspect of things, there's a lot of rhythm going on, not so many notes in terms of the space between them. It's really easy to fall into the whole rabbit hole of being repetitive. And you did. That line, it's really repetitive. And you know that. You acknowledge that, and you made a lot of changes. A lot of, a B and a C section that contrasts, and everything becomes really cool. This whole like Timbaland, kind of Scott Storchy, whatever kind of vibe works. Feels a little bit dated maybe, but it works. And it sounds good. But the strong thing about this is, to me, how you combine the repetitiveness of that rhythm and that melody line section thing with contrasting parts. I think we can learn a lot from this, a lot of us. Like, realize whenever it becomes boring and whenever it becomes repetitive. Boring is not the right word. When it becomes repetitive, and switch it up. It sounds like a song. It has a structure to it. It feels like a track that someone could rap and sing on and whatever. I mean, that's basically 4 notes. Dome, ding, dome, ding, dome, 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 ding, dome, and then 2 more. And this feels good. But it's already becoming repetitive because it's that few notes. And then we have a switch up. So effective and so cool. So simple, but so brilliant. To me, it's just worth pointing out when someone does something really right. Because using simple melody lines like that with just a few notes, you're remembering it. Whenever I wake up in the morning, I can just go dum da dim dum da dum da 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 dum da dum and think of this one. But when I listen to it, it doesn't become too much. I've said the same thing 6 times now. Cool stuff, sounds good, like the beat. It's good that you're using different sections. I think that's cool. Missy Elliott on the verse? Yeah. For sure. Insane wordplay on the stream? What does that mean? I'm from Sweden. My English vocabulary isn't that broad, Rhythm Craftsman. I think this is good. Good job, good job, good job. And thanks a lot for sending it in. Thanks a lot for being a part of this thing we call Beat Review. Now, we have the second to last submission for today from Chris Dilworth. Chris Dilworth with a submission over here and a message that goes, I'm just a dad and a lawyer. Music is my first love and I make music as a hobby. I just started using Ableton, so it may be a little off, I guess. It may be a little off mix-wise because I really have no idea to use it just yet. I hope you like it. Okay, cool. So you're not 100% confident about the mixing, and that's totally fine. You're a dad, and you make music as a hobby, like we all do. I'm also a dad who makes music as a hobby, so I know where you're coming from. Chris Dilworth.
see the little tears in your eyes.
Rewind selector.
Have to, 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 have to. I see the little tears in your eyes.
So nice I had to play it twice. No, honestly, it was 43 seconds long, so we played it twice. We have all the vibes in here. We have all the vibes. Doom, 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 doom. I mean, talking about stuff being repetitive, this is borderline being repetitive. Stuff like this needs a rapper, I think. But then you also switched it up. You released the sample and let it play out, and I think that's good. Definitely has a value to it. But being someone like me, with my kind of background, being in the generation I am, cut off vocal samples like that is just a vibe, you know? I think some things needs to be done with the mixing. We need some heavy bass underneath it all. And we need some more clarity of the sample to make it stand out and punch through a little bit. It's good. Nice and solid and just sits where it sits. I think this is good stuff. A track like this could be worked on and tweaked because it doesn't have too many moving parts, you know? So my real point of criticism here is that there's a lot of space in the low end. There's a lot of gaps and air and space in the low end that you could fill up with bass of some sort. Using that dull kind of snare sample makes sense in this context, I think. I normally go for something that sounds like, or that sounds like, you know. This is something that sounds like, kind of, which is cool in this style. It works. But I feel like I need something that's just widening the entire production, that gives it more bass, more substance, more depth. That word again I can't say. But the main idea for this, pure hip hop, really cool, nice and good. Made So Well says I maybe would pull back the vocal chops just a little bit, just a little. Yeah, I think the main thing here is to add bass. And is that you? Sorry, it was mad short. Yeah, I guess that's you. Dilisk in the chat. But yeah, bass. I think bass. Bass. And maybe some variations. Uptown Blondie says, my turn. It is your turn. If you are Giovanni de Cesaris. Well, let's check your email. This is the last submission for today. The last one on the list. I love having this list. Damn. Took me a few minutes to get everything in there, but I love having it. You guys can follow along. I'm not missing anything. No one sits around waiting for 2 hours to be played or anything. You know you're here. In that order and everything. Even though it was kind of fun using that wheel to like pick beats randomly, we could do that with this too. Assigning everyone a number and then just spinning it. Whatever. Let's jump into this email from Giovanni. Hi fam, I'm Uptown Blondie. Okay, so that's the artist name. Uptown Blondie. Artist, producer from Venezuela. I made this beat today, mixing trap with rage 8-bit vibe. It's not mixed and mastered already. Thanks. So Uptown Blondie is probably the artist name at hand. So I'm gonna put that in here. That makes more sense. But it doesn't, because it doesn't correlate with the list. So we're gonna use Giovanni? Am I? Yeah. Now you can understand that this is that. Did I download it? I think I did. So the last submission for this live stream today, right now. What's happening? Okay, my bad. OBS is over there and the others over there. Okay, I'm sorry. Now I'm here. Uptown Blondie or Giovanni. Let's go.
Hey Blondie, you make another hit.
Boom! That's the last track for today. One of those vibes that is a little bit far from what I do and how I make beats myself and the kind of genre I'm working in. But when it's this kind of subtle, this laid back and this classy and cool, I'm up for it. I'm all in. This is good. 1 minute and 22 seconds. It feels like everyone uses the same snare sample in this kind of trappy genre, which is not bad. It's a good snare sound, but we've heard it before, you know? And I need to think about this differently because it has all that stuff that I'm normally looking for, but a different kind of version of it. So instead of a bass line, you know, an acoustic bass, an upright bass, a sub bass, you just have the 808. And you have the quick hi-hats, and you have that snare sample, and you have kind of a electronic kind of melody going on top of it all. It's good. I think I like the chord progression and the musicality more than I like the production. That kind of melody, together with all the stuff in the background, the small hits or whatever you want to call it. Becomes really serious and has this walking kind of sensation to it. This is good. This is good. Well produced. Could be mixed a bit differently, but you pointed that out yourself. Yeah, there's this vibe, this seriousness of it that appeals to me. I think that's what I like about this. This genre is normally either like super hyped up and super like, or really mysterious and dark. This has a little bit of mysteriousness inside of it, but not too much. Not that it becomes, it's just kind of a joke. It feels good. Nice and solid production. Not my style of music, you know that. But I think this is cool. This is cool. I want to hear more stuff. I want to be more leaned into this kind of genre because it has a quality to it. It's not bad. It's just a lot of people in this genre makes bad stuff. You don't. This is good. Thanks a lot for sending it in. Uptown Blondie. I appreciate it. And DJ Redeem is pointing out that I have made some kind of mistake in the spelling. Don't you think I know that? And that's done intentionally? Of course. But I can just take them out like that. Ah, okay, they're still left over there. Ah, my bad. Okay, let's do that. And let's also do that. Whatever. So, this live stream is officially over. We have done this for more than 2 hours, and I've said we're doing 2 hours. Normally it always goes over. Now, 2.5 hours. That's totally fine. Beat review will continue. Make no mistake. Don't think that I'm not doing this just because I did this flip the sample challenge, beat making challenge all in one thing. No, the beat reviews are going to stay. We're going to do it like this every other Monday. So next Monday, not, but the Monday after that, yes. And just a heads up, just a quick little, I just want to mention this. We still have a few people in here. One of my live streams in the future, a beat review or maybe just me making beats, is going to have a sponsor. I'm going to have a sponsor in the stream, which, I'm going to have to cut in a pre-made ad that I've made myself, or just talking about a specific thing in the stream. One stream once, gonna do it and see if it feels totally whack or not. But one stream is gonna be sponsored. It's not gonna be anything that benefits you more than you're gonna hear about something kind of cool. It's not sponsored in the way that I'm going to do this whole, it's sponsored by Apple. You're going to give an, nothing like that. I just wanted to point it out. One stream in the future is going to be sponsored. A snooze sponsor? That would have been great. Difficult though, because it's nicotine and tobacco. So I would not want to advertise that. Even though I kind of am because I'm always snoozing. Whatever. Thanks a lot for hanging out tonight, guys. This live stream is coming to an end. We had a lot of submissions. Not too many, but not too few either. Bringing back the list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 beats. Right in the sweet spot. I think 17 beats makes sense. you know, in the big thing we did like 45 one day and like whatever one day, 45 and 35. That's a lot. And that's a different concept. This is just beat review. Anyone's welcome. Anything's cool. Whatever. Again, I'm just amazed by how much talent we have in this little community of people. People are on all types of levels when it comes to mixing and mastering and like finishing things off, but many of the creative ideas are really good. Many of the beats that comes out in this thing that gets played in my beat reviews are good. You guys are talented. You are good. Keep making music. Never stop. Just make beats every day, always. And sometimes send them to me so we can share it like this. So thanks a lot for being a part of this concept. Thanks for hanging out tonight. I'm going to see you guys in the next live stream of this in 2 weeks and another stream next Monday. And there's also videos in the works about time for me to leave. How long ago did you start doing beat reviews like this? A long time ago. We have been doing beat reviews for years at this point, maybe? Accurate shows the last beat you tracked into your DAW. No, I can't. Right now the setup is not done like that. You can't hear the MPC, you can't hear... Yeah, everything's not routed up. So right now that's not possible. I am working on a thing in Logic that I can't show you anyways because it's for a project with a rapper. Which is coming up. Whatever. Made So Well, Hannibal Actor, Atmosphere, Icon 74, Puerto Ricanism, Carbon, everyone. 2 years maybe? Yeah, maybe something like that. We've done these kinds of live streams for a while. And I'm not getting a lot of subscribers because of it. I'm not getting a lot of views from it. But I'm having a great time. And you guys seem to be enjoying it too. So we're not going to stop. How do I submit a beat? Everything is done from on accuratebeats.com. The submission form opens when the stream starts. Not before and not right now. It's closed right now. So every live stream, I'm opening up the submission form and you can use the submission form to submit beats to the show. The beats has to be less than 10 megabytes big, so you gotta make an MP3. That's just what it is. Right now, it's time for me to go to bed. Time for you guys to do something else with your life. But thanks a lot for hanging out. And yes, I have a hard time ending the streams. I don't know how to because it always feels sudden. Like I'm just bye. But whatever. I've said goodbye like 6 times at this point. So right now,